I got that bill with no insurance. In 1999, that bill, I remember to this day, $32,000.
Yes, it was.
And that was some people's salary back then. $32,000. I looked at that bill and I just chuckled like, y'all will never see a dime of this
Yeah,
$32,000.
because we didn't have any money. I'm
Okay.
like, what?
Okay, welcome to the Then Comes Love podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Wendell. This is my lovely, beautiful, talented, all great, just all that, my wife of 26 wonderful years. It's my wife, Anidra.
Yes.
Vines Butler. Take out the Vines because it's just Butler now.
Yes. Welcome to our very first
Yes.
episode.
Long time in the making.
Yes, of Then Comes Love.
Yes.
And the whole purpose of Then Comes Love is where we want to keep it real and talk about all things love, life, and marriage. And we
Yes.
want to dig into the ups and the downs that come with this thing called marriage. And so we want to talk, let's talk about it, baby. Let's talk about it.
Love. Well, we know every marriage has problems. I don't care what they
Yes.
tell you. I don't care how they look on the outside. Everybody has mess.
Yes, they
and
do.
we all like to cover our stuff up and hide our junk. But Anidra and I, we went through a lot in our marriage, and we just wish we had somebody to walk with us to help us, get through the hard times. And so this is what the purpose of this podcast is. That we want to be alongside you to help you navigate. We do not have all the answers. We're not experts, but we're
not
here,
perfect. Yeah.
and we've made ourselves vulnerable. Just we want to be a part of whatever God wants to do, and so we're here. Yeah.
And I love what you said that, if you haven't been through something yet, great. That's
Wonderful.
great. But you will.
Yeah.
And I think just like they say with counseling, it's good to have the tools in your tool belt. So when those things happen, you know what to do.
Yeah.
We, like you said, we don't have the answers, but we hope that you can learn from, and we hope that you can be encouraged by how God has brought us through some of the most difficult times. And so we want to take this very first episode to share our story.
Yes.
And so this is called From the Mess to Madly in Love.
Madly in love.
So we got to talk about
Okay,
it. So
let's
let's
talk
start.
about it.
Let's tell them, how did it all begin?
I won't go back to 1978 because that's just too far back.
Oh my gosh.
No, but Anidra and I, we grew up together. I've known her since I was 12, 13 years old. And her dad was a pastor at our church. And it was, for those of you who don't know, there was a prophetic word. There was a prophecy, for those of you who aren't familiar with the Christian terms of prophecy.
Sure.
It was just basically someone saying, hey, I think God is saying you're going to marry this girl. That was a prophetic word that someone gave to me. They said I was supposed to marry Anidra. And the thing about it is, when you're a young teen, you're praying and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to marry this girl. And there's one thing when you believe it, but when adults also believe it too, and it's just kind of like really it just really bothered me. And it got out somehow.
Yes,
the
it
whole church knew this prophetic word.
Everybody except me. And I'm like, what is going on? Everybody trying to push Wendell up on me. I don't want him.
Yeah, no, and she did not.
Not at all.
And
babe, I wanted a thug. I needed a teardrop on the side of your eye. I didn't want no nice guy.
I had some tears. I'm just saying.
I didn't want no nice guy. He was just so nice. And just every birthday, every Valentine, Easter.
Don't tell my boys. Don't tell my boys. They don't know this.
Carnations would be on my front doorstep.
I was putting it on, bro.
yeah. He was laying it on,
and it wasn't
thick,
working.
Okay.
And old Debo that she was dating at the time, he'd just be like, "Hey, girl, you ugly. Come here."
He had a teardrop, and that was attractive. That was attractive at the time.
Anyway, we don't spend too much time on that. Let's move it all on. So now this happened. Basically, this went on for 4 years of me trying to woo this girl. And here's the thing: as much rejection as I got, I never once thought it because I was ugly. I don't care. I mean, you would think that I would just be like, man, I didn't care. I thought something was wrong with her. And so I just continued, hey, listen, it worked. Because any other time I would have quit, but I didn't quit. I just kept trying. So let's see, this went on forever until you finally decided to.
Well, so Okay, so you got pause right there.
Okay, let's pause. Correct me.
So it was my 12th grade year, and I was interested in this guy. Okay, and so as he said, Dad was a pastor, and so I invited this guy to church or whatever. And after church, the guy, he went home, and my dad told me, he was like, "Don't you ever do that again." I said, "Do what?" He's like, "Don't you ever bring another guy to church knowing that Wendell likes you."
Dad love me. That's how you do it.
Okay,
That's how you do
okay.
it. For those of you who are dating and happen to come across this is how you do it.
No,
you get
it's
in
not
with a
how you
father.
do it. No, that's
you
not
get
how
in
you
your
do it.
father. You're in there
Anyway.
like a bird.
So my dad tells me, he says, "Don't you ever do it again." Then he went a step further. He was like, "And if you do, I'm going to take away your car."
Why you bring that?
I
That's a
was like,
sensitive subject.
"What? You going to take away my car?" Now my dad, may he rest in peace. He was like, "Man, I probably shouldn't have done that. But if he didn't, we wouldn't be there."
He just wanted what was best for you.
Whatever.
That's all he wanted.
So anyway, to go along with that, my parents invited Wendell to come over, and I had to apologize to him. Okay, apologize to him for bringing somebody else that I like, and apologize to somebody I don't like. Okay, now you tell me what kind of sense that makes.
I didn't think we were going to talk about this story. And
That's all right, but I think it's important as we go along. So we leave that. He comes over for that little meeting, my apology. And he got a half apology.
I really did.
He sure did. And I walked up them steps. And I'm like, "Oh, you thought I won't talking to you then?
But I didn't even do nothing.
You really ain't going to get nobody
didn't
talking
even
to
do
you now."
nothing.
But anyway, so he leaves. And so my sister tells him that
Apparently, she lied and said that you really wanted to go to the prom with me, but you were too scared to ask me. And
she told me that you really wanted me to go, but you were too scared to ask. So long story short, we end up maybe like 2 or 3 weeks later, because we were supposed to go to prom together anyway. You had asked me to go, didn't you?
And I thought it was over because of that episode.
Yes, that is true.
I was trying to find a backup.
So we were supposed to go anyway before I brought my friend. But once I brought my friend to church, the guy that I liked, and all that, I had to apologize. I was like, forget him. So anyway, when, Mimi, my sister, lies to him, lies to me.
And gets us together. Bada
And
bing, bada boom.
we go to prom. Okay. So we go to prom, and he was pulling up in the driveway, prom that night. And all night, he took me to dinner, just being such a gentleman. And I remember the end of that night saying, "I love you."
That quick. I mean, that wasn't that quick. It was 4 years. But yeah, just like
I
that.
said, "I love you." And he was like, "You love me?" You remember you saying you love me as a friend? No, you said, I love you too, but I don't love you as a friend. And I was like, "Me either."
I was like, whatever.
Yes.
I had to play cool because she was really misleading in the past, so I didn't know to believe her or
Yes,
not.
to the point where we were inseparable since that
time.
day, and he never would tell anybody. I think Mimi asked, like, "So are y'all?" This was May of
I did not
1997.
want to label it at all.
And this is May of 1997 that we went to prom, and I think we were inseparable for a few months. And Mimi was like, "So, y'all a couple?" And you were looking at me. I was like,
won't say anything.
"Yes."
Okay.
And then here we are.
All right, so dating process. Any of you who are dating, pay attention to this, please. Please pay attention to this. So through the dating process, like she said, we were inseparable,
Yes.
always together. I would come to her house at 8:00 in the morning. In the morning, it wouldn't leave until late that night.
We would spend
Way
basically
too
wake
much time.
up and go to bed.
Too much time together, and a lot of unsupervised time as well. And knowing the fact that remember that prophetic word that we got, and it's still in the back of my mind, like, this is my wife, yada yada yada. So it's like
We
I was
treated each other
like
as
we
that.
were married
Yeah,
already,
yeah.
and I got to. I think was that time I went somewhere with your family. and went away?
We went on trips
So-
together, everything.
So it was starting to feel like I was already there, which I shouldn't have been having that feeling. We were always together. We got very comfortable.
And somebody told you something.
Yes. So at our church, there was a lot of prophesying going on. Everybody laying hands, prophesying over. somebody came up to me. I ain't gonna say who it is, because she'll probably see it. They came up to me and said, Wendell, I want you to be careful. Be careful that you don't, have sex with her. And I wasn't thinking about sex at the time. But when she said, be careful, you might have sex with her, all I heard was, I might have sex. Really?
Because they need to understand that was
that is something that
that was your first. That was your
okay, yeah.
Well, that's.
I wasn't really experienced, but it wasn't because I was. Well, I really wanted to give it away, but nobody. It's a long story. But when I heard it, I was like, I can have sex. And so, I don't know. Shortly after that, I think we started becoming sexually active.
We did.
Yeah,
we did. He was pushy. I didn't want it, but he wanted it.
Okay, I'll let you have that.
I mean, it's the truth.
I'll let you have that. So yeah, it started to come into a sexually active relationship. I was told that I couldn't get. She told me, that she couldn't get pregnant because of some mess. But I'm fast forward anyway.
Whatever.
Long and behold. Anyway,
whatever. So we got very comfortable.
Yeah,
we got very comfortable, and I think too. I never thought we would do that because hey, I'm the pastor's daughter.
Right.
I didn't even think that we would get that far, but we did. And I remember one day coming down, Wendell was at my house watching wrestling.
I was young, but
watching wrestling. And I remember feeling like I need to take a pregnancy test. Now at this time, man, we're skipping stuff. At this time, now you had proposed to me on your 19th birthday.
I proposed to you.
October 23rd, 1998.
And then we started having sex.
No.
We were having that?
Yes, we were.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. So anyway, we were engaged on his birthday, and in February of 1999, that's when I felt like I needed to take a pregnancy test. And so he was watching wrestling or whatever. I took the pregnancy test, and it was positive. And I just sat there and looked at that pregnancy test for I don't know how long. But anyway, I come downstairs where he's watching wrestling, and we're literally sitting right where we are, in the same position that we are. You're watching TV.
Like this.
And I'm like, Wendell, I'm pregnant.
You are. And I went back to watching TV. In my defense, of course, for those of you who are not wrestling fans, just bear with me for a minute. But if you were ever into wrestling back in the day, the Steiner brothers were a really huge tag team. And at this point in time, Scott Steiner hit Rick in a chair.
Bruh, I just told you I was pregnant
He just
with
hit him
your
in a
child.
chair. Y'all don't understand. Ever since I was 8
And
years
we
old,
weren't
these
married.
brothers were together. And then right after she tells me, Scott hits Rick with a chair. But anyway, I'm sorry. But yeah, so it kind of threw me off. But
so we both sitting there
dumbfounded.
Yes. Okay. So then the next day, we went to Farmore. If y'all know about anything about Farmore, 757. We went to Farmore, and I think we took probably about
17 pregnancy
tests. Went to everywhere, took tests. Finally went to the doctor. Now, mind you, we did not tell them when our wedding date was planned.
Right.
Our wedding date, we were engaged October 23rd of 98, and we said that we would get married October 23rd, I believe, of 99. Something like that.
Yeah.
Well, you want to know when the doctor said I was due? October 23rd, 1999. Yeah. Okay? So we had to let that settle in. And mind you, all of this time, neither of our parents knew. We were the only two that knew we were pregnant.
And to give you a heads up, I was always the guy that was getting caught up on the altar.
On the stage.
On the stage. God's going to use you in a powerful way, and you're going to do this, and you're going to do that. So there was like the reputation of, oh man, God, he's got a bright future in ministry. He got a bright future in the church and stuff like that. So when this came out,
let me tell you, I told him that I ain't telling nobody.
Right.
And Jayden, we love you, but I was like, I'll get an abortion. I was so scared because I felt like I was going to be stoned to death, by saying that I was pregnant. And so anyway, I told him, like, you telling my dad. I'm not telling him.
I was like, I tell him. I was like,
so we told our parents.
So we told your father. I feel like he already kind of knew. I feel like mom kind of gave him a heads up because when we came in the room, he was already laying on the couch like he was sick. So any other time he wouldn't be. He was laying like he was already sick. But anyway, so we ended up telling him, and it wasn't easy for you.
No, it wasn't, because I'm a true daddy's girl.
And he looked at me with such disappointment because he had expectations for me.
Yeah.
And if what you didn't know, I mean, he counseled me and everything like that. It's almost like he handpicked me, and I let him down. So that was rough. And so where we going with this next?
So the next part of the story is that after we told my parents, we had to tell our pastor. And so we told our pastor, and we were like, hey, at this point, we need to go ahead and get married. I mean, we were already planning on getting married anyway, so let's just move it up. And so we told my pastor, and they were like, you are not getting married at the church. Kind of like, how dare you walk down the aisle being 5 months
and
pregnant.
you get married in 2 weeks.
Yes. Yeah, like they told us we had to get married right away. Thankfully, my mom and my dad were like, no, that's not going to happen. You're going to have the wedding that you want to have. And so we did. But before that, one day we were sitting in church or whatever, and the pastor comes to Wendell and I. We're sitting on the second row because my dad was a pastor. He was on the front row. We would sit behind him. And he basically told the entire church, which we would have like 3,000-4,000 people.
There's a lot of people.
It was a lot. That we had sinned, that we fell, and you talking about somebody who was embarrassed. The thing that I said that I feared the most was that I was going to be stoned to death for doing this. And I remember I at this time I was about four months pregnant with Jaden. And I remember him telling me, standing up in front of everybody, telling that we fell. And I remember that he told me that I had to, at this time, we had 2 services, and I had to come to first service, that nobody could see me. And I had to hide my pregnancy. And I remember, so basically, until Wendell and I got married at June 5th, 1999, I was 5 months pregnant with Jaden at that time. I did not feel the connection with him because I was ashamed of being pregnant. And so you're talking about months and months and months of hiding him and not letting it, I could not even be happy. I could not even be happy.
Just a lot of shame.
Yeah. It felt awful. So, yeah.
And so we ended up getting married at another church, and I got a job, working, making pretty good money at the start. When you imagine yourself getting married, you imagine yourself with the house and the wife. Well, for me at that time, I know times have changed, but at that time, you have your wife at home, dinner's ready, you come home, yada yada yada. We experienced some of that for the first couple months. Would you say?
Yeah.
It was pretty good, first couple months, and then I lost my job before I had the baby. Lost my job and lost my insurance, by the way.
So here we are. I was 5 months pregnant. We had just moved into our apartment in June, and then by August, he had lost his job. So and as you said, we lost insurance. So, I couldn't even take prenatal vitamins. I couldn't even take basic care of myself. Now, mind you, you talked about the white picket, the white picket fence. For me, I also thought, right away, I'm going to have the white picket fence because I'm pregnant. We already got the baby. This is about to be good. I enjoyed spending time with you. Our dating was great. You would take me out. You would do all these things, lottie. And so when we get married after our honeymoon, we come back to our apartment, and babe, tell them how I was landed on what I was doing, how I would come to the door.
Man, she would hook that hamburger helper up, bruh. You hear what I'm saying? Hamburger helper with a little spices and stuff. She would freak that hamburger helper. It was
you make
the
me
best
sick.
hamburger helper you could ever have.
I didn't know how to cook at the time. I knew how to make lasagna and hamburger helper. That was it.
I did come home and you had the iced tea in the cup waiting for me and everything. So
I enjoyed that.
It was cute then. It was new.
Yeah.
It was fresh.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed going grocery shopping and, being a stay-at-home mom because I was pregnant at the time. He told me I could quit my job and all of this stuff. I'm like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
And then August came and I'm like, I feel like somebody just popped the balloon. I'm like, so we didn't really even get a honeymoon phase. I feel like I was robbed.
So yeah, we didn't have.
It was horrible.
So we had to move out of the
We moved out of the apartment and we went to stay
with
with
parents.
your parents and my parents.
Yeah.
I don't know how that.
Didn't even make it 6 months.
Yeah.
Didn't even make it long enough for our son to be born. We already back at our parents' house.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the worst time.
And then we stayed with our parents. I think we stayed with your parents before we had the baby, Jaden. And I remember it was 3.5 weeks before my due date. And mind you, I could not take basic care of myself. And I went to the doctor one day because you lost your job. You were at an interview at Canon.
Yeah,
remember
Canon.
that.
Asked me if I got the job.
Anyway, you had a job interview, and I remember being with your mom and just saying I felt so sick. And so I ended up going to the doctor, and basically they said my liver was starting to shut down, all this other stuff. Next thing I know, this is before Brazilian wax, okay? They just start shaving me. I had to have an emergency C-section. So that's, you can probably tell the rest of the story.
Because you went up anyway. So yeah, they started shaving her, and they didn't really tell us, hey, we're doing this now. They just started shaving like I'm supposed to know what's going on. But anyway, they let us know they were going to take the baby, and remember they wheeled her away, and we're waiting. I mean, we're excited, we're about to have his kid. And I couldn't go in with her because it was an emergency C-section. So I'm sitting there with the family like I'm just a regular extra person, like just sitting in a waiting room. And then they pulled the baby out. The baby comes out. They're like, "Hi, Mr. Butler. How are you doing, Mr. Butler?" They just take the baby. They don't give the baby to me. They rush the baby off to God knows where. So I'm asking, hey, what's going on? Can I see my baby? How's my wife doing? I get none of that. Well, come to find out, his lungs wasn't fully developed yet. So he had to go to a special care nursery.
For like 14 days.
15 days. And so during that time, we couldn't touch him. He was on a breathing machine. The machine was breathing for him and everything like that. Now, I want everyone to understand something now. I understand that we did what we did before we got married, but God said we were supposed to be together. But all this, it seems like as soon as we got together, everything was just going wrong.
Yeah.
To the marriage, to the job, to the son who we couldn't touch for 15 days.
Broke. I don't know what. I mean, I could not listen, I couldn't even have my pregnancy cravings. That's how broke we were. And so it was rough. And so even when you were talking about Jaden, I did not even find out that something was wrong with him until the next day.
Right.
And so fast forward, Jaden is in there for 14 days. And can you imagine first time parents having to leave the hospital? I dreamed about leaving the hospital with my child, and I have to leave the hospital with nothing. I had a C-section. I got the scarring. I got everything to say that I had a baby, but no baby. And so I remember going home back to your mom's house.
Sure, go ahead. Right.
Going back to your mom's house. I'm sitting in the bed. I'm so sad, okay? Wendell is in the next room playing PlayStation.
I was playing PlayStation. I'm 20 years old. I was playing PlayStation.
But
I was playing, what was I playing?
Don't matter.
NBA Live. It wasn't 2K at the time. It was NBA Live. And
who cares what it was?
I'm just saying.
And I was young. And I remember at that point, you came in the room and you said, "I'm sorry."
Yeah, I realized. Yeah.
You like, I'm putting myself in your shoes, and you are a first time mom, and you don't have your baby, and I should be here with you. And so I commend you. Like,
thank you.
You caught that real fast.
Yes. Yeah. Well, at the time, it was like, I know it was weird to say, but because when I looked at Jaden in the hospital, it didn't feel like it was my kid. It was just like, oh, poor baby. But it was actually my baby. And so I never really bonded with him. But understanding that you did. So can you imagine 15 days and I got that bill with no insurance. In 1999, that bill I remember to this day, $32,000.
Yes, it was.
And that was some people's salary back then. $32,000. I looked at that bill and I just chuckled like, y'all will never see a dime of this $32,000.
Because we didn't have any money. I'm like, what?
But you know what? To this day, and maybe...
And you remember our insurance had actually ended the day before I had Jaden. It was crazy.
Right. And okay, can we say? I don't know how that bill got paid.
Yeah.
We never paid it.
It never showed up.
It never showed up on our credit. It never came after us. They just said, we know these jokers ain't got no money. Just forget it.
I honestly wonder if my mom and dad...
Somebody let us know. How is that? Anyway.
Well, maybe we should be quiet because we don't want them coming after us now.
It's too long now. Yeah, oh well.
Yeah,
like 26 years. Stop.
Yes, but yeah, it was a very tough time. So for the first few months of our marriage, it was rough. It was rough.
And I would like to say it got better.
It did, but we had no idea
None.
that it would take. We would have to go through some of the toughest times, and we probably thought what we went through was so
the
hard.
worst.
Yeah, but we did not know. You know, hindsight looking back, if we could go back to those two people and say, you're about to experience 15 more years of this.
More years.
15 more years of this. So that was just the beginning. But it was 15 years of challenge after challenge after challenge after challenge. And we've been married for 26 years
26 years, yeah.
And so we're going to continue to tell you the story of our mess. And we want you to know that no matter where you are, that there is nothing that God can't fix. And we want to show you, we want to, continue to share our mess and to encourage you of how God can take you from a mess to madly in love. And so if you are if you're looking at your marriage right now, you're feeling like, I can identify with maybe not the same issues that we have, but if you look at your marriage right now, you probably say, man, I feel like I'm in a mess right now. Or maybe you know somebody who is. I would encourage you to share this podcast with them, because we want not that we know everything, but we want to share our story in hopes that it will encourage you in your marriage, that no matter what you're going through, that God can take you from that mess to madly in love.
Yeah, if you can just hold on. I know you're going through a mess, but understand that your marriage is not a mistake. I don't care how it started. It's not a mistake, and God can get you through it. But if you would just endure it and hold on to him. So we're going to share with you our experiences and how we got through it. And I believe it's going to bless you, and I pray that, you would get something from it. But like Anidra said, we just ask you to follow, subscribe, share, and
come along on the journey with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so we will see you on the next episode of Then Comes Love as we talk about the mess.
The more mess from us.
All right, see you next time.
All right, now, take care.